psilocybin trip I had when I was like 19. I took like 7 or 8 grams of psilocybe azurescens, which are the native psilocybe of the Pacific Northwest, and they are the most potent psilocybin by weight known on Earth. And I think they're several times stronger than Cubenzis. Little fuckers, and they're so potent they bruise, like almost turn black. The bluing reaction is so strong by the psilocin oxidization when they dry or they get bruised. They're incredible. They grow along the beach and the beach grasses in Washington State, which is where I was living. And I did like 7 or 8 grams into a little shot glass of tea. I threw it back, and I went in my room, I closed the door, turned off the lights, fell into the bed, and just proceeded to literally die. Started out really overwhelming, so overwhelming it just quickly turned hellish. I mean, I was coming up within 10 minutes coming up on a level that I never touched, as far as the complete immersiveness and the all just overwhelming density and the vividness of the hallucinations and visuals in the dark. It was just seen, unseen, animals and landscapes stretching out like 360 degrees of vision. Unbelievable colors, but just smashing. And it was like, my mind is gonna break. How can I possibly handle this? This is just starting, and of course, you think that, and that can quickly snowball into fear, which it did, and all the visuals started to turn really demonic and terrifying, red and blacks, different reds and blacks. And I actually remember hearing this voice come out of it all, out of the chatter of the hallucinations. I said, "The dark one has come." Yeah, super menacing. And it was actually, I saw this satanic pentagram above me. It was like sprouting out into this dragon, this horrible demon dragon that was coming alive out of the pentagram, and it was devour me. And I did all I knew how to do, which I really went toe-to-toe spiritual warfare with it, but for me that was calling out for help to my source. I have my own personal relationship with my source and divinity, and we walk and we talk, we're tight, and I personally, no matter whatever wisdom I gain in this world, I am but just a spiritual infant, at best. And so I need, personally, this is just me, a bridge to the infinite. I need a master, a teacher, to connect me with the unapproachable, unspeakable, unfathomable vastness of the all. And for me, that's Christ. And it's interesting because I would not belong probably in the majority of Christian churches. I don't go to church. I grew up Catholic, but I really left that behind in my teen years to do my own searching. And I really explored Eastern philosophies and religions, and Hinduism, Buddhism, along with really along the same time that I started doing psychedelics at 14. And after a lot of time, I tried a lot of different faiths on. Very what's the word? I was very sincere, a very sincere seeker, and spent time with the major ones. But I ended up circling back around to my roots. But when I circled back around to my roots, it was with this realization of I really could see the one truth in all the world's great faiths. It's like the many faces of the one. And if you have a pure heart, I believe that there is the same truth and wisdom and the same story being told in all of them. And it's really about kind of where you were placed in the world. I think at least for me, this is much more natural. It felt contrived to try to take on, the faith of India or something, because I was just a West Coast, North American kid, who grew up on Grateful Dead tour, taking LSD. And it was like, start there, find me there. Find me there. That's been also the message of a lot of my deepest communications is, whatever is in your hand, if you seek me there, you'll find me, because divinity really is woven into all. And so whatever you're working on, if you have the eyes to see and the heart to seek it, the divine nature of all will reveal itself to you in everything. I don't care if it's a crack rock or a shovel, or a paintbrush, or the food you're dishing out in the soup kitchen. It's about your heart and your relationship with it, and the purity you're seeking, and the sincerity of it, and the steadfastness of it. So anyway, a little background. So I started to pray in that moment. I started to pray, come to me, and be with me, be my shield, be my sword, because I was going to battle with this dark one, this huge demon. And it was incredible because I felt these arms come around me, envelop me, the strength. I don't know, it was an angel, an archangel, or my guardian angel, some powerful, totally loving spiritual being. It wasn't Jesus, I don't think. It was like an intermediary. Came around me, picked me up in their arms, and I watched the demon just evaporate into light, and we flew through it, and through this, out of my house and room, and on my body, and into space, and to distant into the galaxy and beyond. And as we were flying, I was traveling through every moment of my life, like a life review. And not only a life review, but it was like every intention, the most minuscule, behind every thought and action that I'd ever experienced. My consciousness was moving through and looking at, and there was no judgment. There was no, it had to be this way, that way. It was really about, did I have peace with it all? When I came to the present moment where the angel picked me up, was the sum of my scale, peace or regret, or, and it was peace. It was peace. I knew even when I made mistakes that I meant well. And so I had the sum of peace after my life review. And as soon as I hit that point, we arrived at our destination, and like, all I can describe it is like the doors of heaven opened. I was allowed into this, I just kind of transmuted into this realm that was, to talk about it profanes it. That's the thing. To even try to bring words to it immediately profanes it. It's truly beyond anything language can touch. Words like beautiful and sacred and are so distant. But it was all those things. But it was a place. It was a real place. It was outside of time and space, and it was full of everybody I'd ever loved and ever would love. They were all there, celebrating, and God, my source, was waiting there for me, but knew me by name. It wasn't this impersonal thing, like knew me better than I've ever known myself, like every hair on my head and every tear I'd ever cried, a smile I'd ever smiled, and was so happy to see me and receive me, and this unbelievable love. I just came into it as like an ocean of it, and just rolled around in it for what felt like eons. And I remember hearing this endless like chorus going off in every direction of voices singing, basically different songs of just like glory, like just celebrating the beauty of the I Am. There's like millions upon millions of people raising their voices, and in that space, wisdom and the Akashic records and anything you'd ever want to know, how the inner mechanics of the universe were just like flowing like a river, and I could all I had to do was just turn my mind to a question, and I just knew it. I knew it exactly, and so I kind of rolled around in that for just turned out to be hours and hours. It was no time. It was all time. And I remember at some point I was told I had to go, and I just was begging not to. I was so wanting to stay. It was the best thing ever. It was like just literally seeing behind the curtain of life, and realizing that like it's like the greatest gift, surprise party, birthday party of your life, and that you could ever imagine, made just for you. And that was the deal. It was like all of life somehow, every little turn of every leaf on the wind was just custom tailored out of the most exquisite love for your highest joy, is what the deal. And that was the revelation, and it was the essence of yes. It was the essence of yes. And I didn't want to go back, but I knew I had to. And I was begging and pleading and singing and praising, and then when I was getting ready to depart, I was given two mantras: allow love, and all is as it should be, and choose to believe. Choose to believe. And my understanding of that was, the first one's pretty self-explanatory, but choose to believe means if you're ever at a crossroads and you can't see the way, and you have a choice to just believe in faith, choose to believe. Just take that choice. And I was given with those. I remember to this day. I was sent back with them. And the first kind of feeling of my coming back to earth was like was my two fingertips rubbing together. It's this little sensation of like molecules. And I started to come back into my body through that point. And when I first opened my eyes, the room was completely departicleized into, I could see all the like quantum wavelengths and then, molecular structures of like the lamp and the table, and also the song came on. I can't remember if I pressed play or it just came on. It was the most perfect song. It was called "I Will Take You Home" by the Grateful Dead. If you ever see the words, it was like the first thing I heard when I became aware of Earth again. It's like basically the keyboardist Brent Mydland wrote it for his little girl, his daughter. And it's all about like, when you're scared and lost, and I'm like, I will take you home. And it was like God saying this, it was like a love song for me, saying, yes, this was real where you just were, and I love you so much, and I will take you back home. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. I couldn't talk about it for years without just crying, with just happiness, and it changed my life. Because I really do. It's just like, after you've been through something like that, it's like little stuff in life is just nothing. It's just, you just breeze right through it. Really, my faith was so fortified that night. But I remember, I opened my eyes and I was just still, I was like, +4 still, so high. But I was coming, from where I had been, I was coming down, and I'd been drooling and spitting. Good thing my roommates were home. I was probably just thrashing around on my bed in the dark for hours. And drool was all over my face and spit. And I was like a little baby, and I had to discover like hands, eyes, it like literally rebuilt myself piece by piece back into, a young adult, and changed my life, man. It was real as real can be. So that was one of them.